AI in action, accelerate MuleSoft development. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for coming on Fridays and speakers taking the session so early in the morning. So thank you, everyone. Agenda for today's meetup. What it's about, like CurieTech for AI, the overview, and a live demo. Before we start, safe harbor statement that both the speakers and host are organizing this meetup in their individual capacity. We are not promoting, we are not representing anyone. And this presentation is strictly for learning purpose. We do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business. And this presentation is not meant for any promotional activity. Housekeeping. So we'll be recording the session, and the same will be shared on the same event page where you have done the RSVP. And you can ask the questions in between. You can ask in chat, or you can come on your mic and ask the speakers. And do let's share the feedback with us. We love to see how it was. Okay, so organizers, myself, Nitish, Jyoti, Shyam, Pranav, Abhishek, and Vandana from Bangalore chapter. Okay, so speaker. Now I'll hand over to Jian. Jian, I'll unshare my screen. From here, you can take it up.
Okay. Hey everyone, so I'm Jian. I work on engineering and machine learning at CurieTech broadly, uh, working on building these agents. Uh, I have almost like 4 years of machine learning experience, and previously I come from a machine learning background. So I was at Stanford back then. I was at IIT Bombay in India itself. So nice to see all of you. Cool. Deepa.
Hey, thanks, Jian, and thanks everyone. Thanks for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here. I am the head of marketing at CurieTech AI. My experience is mostly on data analytics and iPaaS as a category. I've been with Informatica. Many of you know the company Dremio. It's a data lake company. SAP, everyone knows, and I was also an engineer. I graduated from Kerala, Trivandrum Engineering College. So I have a BTech in electrical engineering, and then I kept moving, explored, and now I'm in marketing. So very excited to be here, and I won't take up any more time because I know you guys are all ready to see the demo. So I think I have one background slide, Nitish, and then I'll hand over to Jian. Because I know everyone, you may be wondering who is CurieTech AI. So I just wanted to give some quick 1 minute background. CurieTech AI, we were founded in 2023 in Silicon Valley. Ashish Tusu is the founder and CEO. He's a serial innovator and entrepreneur. He's also from IIT Delhi, and he's a creator of Apache Hive at Meta. He co-founded Qbol. As you know, Qbol is a data lake company. They've been very successful. After that, he went to AWS to build their AI ML machine learning system and SageMaker. And then he started this company. And most of the people who are in our company are like Jian. They all have a lot of experience in AI, ML, LLMs. We also have MuleSoft experts within our company. And our goal is to help developers to accelerate development. Like Rajashekar was saying, he has 15 APIs and he has a very tight timeline. How can he accelerate development and also get a work-life balance, right? So that's what our aim is. Some of you might have signed up for the test drive as well as our freemium. If not, take a look at it. Our website is www.curietech.ai. We are funded by some top tier investors like Zeta Engineering, Capital, and Sherpal. So that's a pretty high level overview of who we are. We were on stealth until late last year, but we were working with some of you guys already. We may have approached you on LinkedIn. So many of the community actually helped us to get where we are today. So thank you. And I'm going to hand over to Jian because I know that you guys are ready for the demo. So thanks. Jian, over to you.
Thanks, Deepa. Let's see if I can share my
We
screen.
can start sharing, right? We can stop. Yeah.
Mhm. Uh, okay. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks, Aaron. I think I'll go quickly over this. So you have context that what CurieTech AI does. So essentially, we build AI agents for your to help accelerate MuleSoft development. And this is what potentially the cycle looks like. And the things which are marked as purple is where our agents can help you. So you first start off with like gathering requirements and developing use cases. Then you have to design like your open API or RAML specs. We have some agents for that. Um, then the next task comes about like developing flows from scratch or even like maintaining existing flows. And you could do all of those using natural language with our agents. You can build like DataWeave transformations using like input-output examples if you have, or if you have mapping sheets. That's the next part. So these could be even like complex transformations, which we'll look in the demo. Then you can generate like MUnit tests flow by flow. So all you have to do is assign the agent which flow do you want the test to be created, and it will create tests, sample data, things like those. Then there's integration testing. And then the final part also where a lot of our agents help is creating documentation, doing code reviews, asking general questions about the code, understanding all of that. So yeah, that's where it is. And our agents are essentially built to fit in very well in this entire process, and they complement like MuleSoft Anypoint Platform's capabilities. So before going further, let's dive deep in the product itself. So this is what the product looks like. It's at platform.curietech.ai. It's open for all, so you can sign up and start using it altogether. Um, so yeah, let's get started. So we can start in this process, right? So we can start from here itself. Uh, we have a bunch of agents here you can see, which are like coding, testing, documentation, code insights, migration. These are the broad categories which you see. The left panel you see are some tasks which you do. We'll see what the notion of a task looks like. But yeah, let's start with the most pressing need of coding itself, that you want to develop new flows, or you want to maintain existing flows. And we have these first two agents for that. There's an integration generator. Let's say if I go into this, what happens? You see some options over here. Firstly, there's no repository. There's with repository, and there's an upload option. What this means is that if you have an existing project already, you can connect that to Curie, and Curie will kind of learn the best practices from there. If there are existing components, we'll reuse those. Versus if you just want to try it out like standalone, you can just choose no repository. Then you describe what the flow is. This is a natural language description. So actually, each agent has a try example as well. So if you're for new to the platform, I would highly recommend just doing this. Um, and this is what we want, right? We want the flow which like fetches product information from some database and order information from Salesforce. I give some additional details about what the trigger is, um, some of my configurations for my database in this case, and some steps about like what is the business logic that I want this flow to follow. Um, if you have any diagrams, you can upload those as well. And then you choose again, like you want this flow to run on like which Java, Maven, and Mule versions. So we have an support for that as well. And that's all. You could click on submit, and let's see. This is what it looks like. So use task is like running in the background. You can run like multiple tasks in the background. For the time being, we can just look at like pre-canned tasks which we had done previously. Not this one, actually. Wait, let me just reshare my screen. Hmm. Okay, yeah. So we had an integration generator task, and yeah, so this is the task which I had created. And what you get is a markdown over here, which says the flow summary, which is fine, which is just a natural language understanding. And then we have the flow implementation, and this is the actual XML implementation which our agents write. So there's a listener config, There's a database config, Salesforce config, and then the actual flow, which does all the listener, logger, actual queries to the database which you wanted, and all the business logic which I'd asked to implement. It like kind of figures out that it can be efficient as well. It's using like a scatter gather over here. So all those kind of things are baked into the agent. There's error handling too. Then it gives you the flow constants, which you wanted, and the POM dependencies. What you could do is just copy paste all of these into your projects, and take it from there. Uh, Interestingly, just one thing to note is all our agents, what we have really focused on is accuracy. So we give some signals as in if the code is correct or not. Like so, unlike some other AI tools which you might be using. So here we have in this case we have a compilation passed flag. That means that this code is ensured to be correct. Like if you just copy paste it, there won't be like syntax errors or things like those. So that's there. And yeah, even after this, if you're like kind of unhappy with the code, you can provide comments. So here I had like provided a comment that don't use scatter gather, process sequentially, and it creates a new document. And here, if you see it just doing things sequentially, there's a database select, the Salesforce query, and this is where you can provide comments. So even if you're unhappy with this particular version, you can keep on giving natural language feedback till you get the flow code, which is something you're happy with. So that's about integration generator, creating flows from scratch. A lot of other use cases actually come when you have an existing project and you want to work on it. And for that, you have this coding agent. So in coding agent, you can choose the repository. So in this case, I've connected my GitHub. We'll go over like what all options do we have to connect your repositories. You can describe the task. You can provide VM args and things like those as well. So again, let's look at an example task, right? So you can try an example. Here you can like the task here is I want to add some debug logs and process orders flow to log like if an order is placed or cancelled, and print the value of variables in such cases. And that's what I'm starting. Let's see something. While this is running, we can look at something we had previously. Yes, this is right. So yeah, this is some task which I had run previously, and you can look at the code review. So what we created is a diff. So the agent comes up and creates a diff for you. It actually figures out like what the project structure is, where the flows are organized. It in fact figured out that this is process orders flow, which is correct. And yeah, I wanted to add logs when order is placed or order is cancelled. And this is what it is. What you could do again, like in the previous agent, if you're unhappy with the code, like you would do with your coworker, you can just like give comments on the diff. So you can just comment that, hey, this is wrong, this is correct. You can give inline comments, as well as you give like a general comment about the broad thing. Then you can request changes. So that's way. So as you can see here, I've like requested multiple changes, like with different things. And the code review, you can see the history. So you had asked it to change the debug to infolog and things like those. So that's about the coding agent. Eventually, once you're happy with everything, you can approve it, and this will create a pull request. So this is the case where I was like, I've approved it, and in GitHub itself, it comes up with a PR. So here, I think the task was to just upgrade my HTTP connected version. This PR can go through just like regular CI/CD pipelines, code review process, whatever you want. So this is done end-to-end by an agent. All you have to give is natural language prompts for this. Typically, the tasks that you can think of here are like almost endless. Like you can do refactoring, you can do version upgrades, runtime version upgrades. Then there's if your transformations change, you want to make your code more efficient, like follow best practices. Literally everything which is related to code, this agent can touch. So that covers our second coding agent. So again, like, so we go back to our pipeline. We have finished this. So you can develop and maintain flows. So we have these two agents for that. Now we go into data view transformations. And we have like a standalone agent just to help you write these transformations code. Um, and we have some examples over here. One thing is we can write data views from input output examples. So uh, you can first choose the input format. We support a bunch of these, including EDI, EDF, FactorHL7. So you just paste your sample input data, sample output data. If you have multiple of those, you can copy paste that as well. Uh, just add your the more examples you provide, the better it is, because the agent kind of gets a better understanding of what is the intended transformation. Um, and finally, there is a notes. So think of this as anything else you want to communicate to the agent. This could be like, hey, I want you to organize the data view in this particular format, or if the transformation rule is not clear, if there's some edge case which is not clear, you can write it in natural language over here and submit it. Like always, we can try an example. And so here, this is a very simple one. I want to convert like XML to JSON, and I submit it. And yeah, it comes up with this data weave. Like before, we give this particular feedback in the sense is the data weave correct or not. And in this case, yeah, it's correct because it's like successfully generated and verified for these input output examples. You can go in the data weave playground and kind of verify that. And you can also like provide comments just as an integration generator, like use a default name of query, something like that, and just regenerate. um, we can look at some complex example. Let me pull up if I have something. um, this, let's see. Okay, let's re-log in. Okay. So we have this. Yeah, things like this. So this is a decently complex example that you have some nested variables, and you want to convert it into this particular format. I did not provide any notes here, uh, but it kind of figures out from this transformation rule that, hey, you have to like figure out the age of a person. You have to do some like pre-processing of some fields. So what does a clean media domain mean? And it does all those mappings, and how is like salary computed for this person. It can become like fairly complex, and it's decently quick. Like it take in this particular case, it took like 2 minutes, but it could be even faster in some cases, right? So yeah, that's about our data agent. There's another option that you can create data views from mapping tables. So you can just upload Excel files, which is your mapping sheets, which most people have. In the notes, you can provide like sample data. Again, like think of notes as any additional information you want to provide in the prompt. And yeah, we can build transformations from there. So this goes again, data agent, going back to our thing. We covered these two blocks. So you can develop, maintain flows. We have data views from scratch. We can now look into how to design like API specs, and that's fairly simple. So we have in the coding agent, the final sub agent is API spec generator. And here you can choose whether you want to generate like OS or AML, what form, and ask a question. And what this opens is this chat box. Here you can ask query about anything. So if you have like example input outputs, or in natural language that, hey, I want to develop a scheduler API, like a to-do list API, which has like get, put, post endpoints. And you can mention in natural language and we'll create a terminal for you. So we have done with coding agents. Now we can move on to testing actually. So we're done with these three blocks. Uh, What's a different? Mhm. Is there
Okay,
any question?
Jan, there are some questions in the chat if you want to take it up before you proceed.
Okay, sure. Let's see. I can. Okay, this recursively shares things. Um, okay. Uh, is separate license is required to use CurieTech. So the first week is free for all, and after that, based on your use case, we have a different we have sort of like different pricing options. You can either choose like individual license, or if it's an enterprise, there's enterprise versions as well. But for the first week, I think it's free for everyone. Um, what is the support model hierarchy in case if you are having issues with the with using CurieTech? I think it also depends on your license. For example, like we work very closely with our enterprises with full support and things like those. So yeah, that I think is tied with point one. Um, and can you provide some high level information on data security? The prompts code we have provided will be stored in any server. So yeah, we take so this question like essentially comes every time. What about data security? So bunch of things, right? Firstly, we are like SOC 2 type 2 compliant. So that kind of covers a lot of these things. Regarding security of your code, everything is encrypted, both at like transit and rest. Then what else? We never train on your code. If you unless you are on the free plan, there's no training at all on your code. Then you always have an option to remove all your things. So actually, if I can go here, let's share things again. Okay. Yeah, so if you can go here, you see indexes. These are the indexes which I've connected. You can always like remove those. You can suspend, and all that things are like just removed from our site. So that's about security. Uh, yeah, I think if you have any more questions, you can take it after this.
There's one more next to it from Abhinav.
Mhm. Or the pricing of the entire service, or we can take specific tools from the array of services. Uh, so right now we have a developer pack where we have only three agents which are like exposed. But I don't think we have like something extremely custom in the sense that you can pick and choose like which agents do you want. Um, so that's at least the thing right now. Um, and will we be recording this thing? Yes, I think this is being recorded. Um, and what type of LLMs are utilized, and which tools are being typically used for building agents? So what kind of LLMs? We use a bunch of things. We have our own fine-tuned models as well for MuleSoft. We have like specific tools for MuleSoft as well, and everything is built in-house. So because yeah, uh, so that's probably the answer. So can what is the cost for API service? Okay, I don't quite get this question. Krishnan, if you can specify that. And any metrics. So if you mean by metrics in the sense like benchmark metrics, how good our agents are. So typically like on an aggregate, so we have a bunch of agents actually. Some of them are very accurate. For example, the DataWeave agent. But on an aggregate, I would say 80 to 85% is what our agents are accurate right now. Uh, and we have tested these on like more than 700 tasks across all the agents. So these are like ranging from easy to very complex tasks. So that's where it is. Okay, I think we can come back to questions.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Praveen, you have raised your hand. You can ask. Yeah. Praveen? Yeah. Okay, we can continue, Jan.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. You can come here again. Okay. So good. So we are done with coding agents. Now we have testing agents. So the first thing is you want to create MUnits. And what you could do here is you can choose a repository. as usual. You can mention the VM args you want, which in this case is your environment variables, keys, like whatever you essentially run for your like Mule application. Then we have a bunch of like small tweaks which you can make. Like if you want to like enable coverage report along with your MUnits, by default it's chosen to be correct. Then how many MUnit scenarios do you want? So it's like max 3. So you can just choose a slider based on how extensive tests do you want. There are options to add notes, as in all agents, right? Again, if you have some scenario in mind or some test case in mind which you want to test, you can mention it over here. And finally, for this project, we index and find out that these flows are there, and we create tests flow by flow. In this case, let's just choose this flow. I think the Java Maven versions are correct. If you have some like custom connectors, you might need to upload your settings XML over here so that we can fetch that and like take that into consideration as well. We submit. And yes, this is what it looks like. So the first thing is we create scenarios for the unit test. So here it was this post members endpoint. We create a scenario in the sense where we di- mention the description, behavior, execution, validation. And for this, it's a happy path. So everything's good. And finally, we create like a pull request. So like other agents, because it's this connected to GitHub, this pull request should describe like what's happening in this. And you can look over here. So this is a branch which the agent created. And this is the actual test, the XML test, which includes all the mocks and everything, asserts and all of that. And this includes the sample data. So note that we do not have to specify anything about schemas or anything like that. So it like goes to the code, figures out like what transformations are there. And so this was the sample request, this is the sample response. And like other agents, this agent is guaranteed to be correct in the sense that you can just like check out to this branch and run things locally once, and the test would be running. So that's over there. It takes about mostly like 4 minutes, but not too bad to create tests. And you can also like run like multiple MUnits in parallel for like various flows. So as a developer, I don't like writing tests, so this is something which could be really handy. So that's the MUnit test generator. And then in testing agents, we have another simple one, which is the sample data generator. And let's try an example. What this does is you have a DataWeave, and you want to create like sample input and output data for this. So this is the inverse operation of what we had previously. This is mainly for like, if you write some transformation and want to test it independently, you can choose the input data type. In this case, it's JSON. This data uses like the payload, there's vars, which pricing, which is an array, it seems, and attributes. And you submit that. And again, we have this, it's like fairly quick, it's like 2 seconds. And it comes up with your payload, the sample payload, the sample vars. So pricing, which was a dict over here. So it figures out from the data weave, attributes, and the example output. So if you provide these particular inputs to this data weave, this is the output that you can get. And you can run again like multiple of these in parallel just to like figure out different use cases about like what inputs, if you pass to the data weave, what output do you get, as opposed to you thinking things on your own. So yeah, these two are the testing agents. So
Hey, Jian, we have a question on, I think there were some pricing questions. So basically, I'll share the pricing page. We have a developer package, which is based on task. We charge like 25 cents per task. Take a look at it. And for, companies who are doing large implementations, we also have an enterprise package. But if you think there are other options that you're exploring, feel free to ping us. But I'll share the pricing page. And there's one more question on Mule 3 to 4 migration, I guess.
Yes.
Do
So
we?
again, we'll come to migrations at the end. So we have some options for that. But yeah, broadly, I would say, it's supported right now. So we can migrate from Mule 3 to Mule 4 or from some other platforms to Mule 4 as well. Okay. Any other questions, Deva? Else I can continue.
No, please continue.
Yeah. Okay. So we have covered testing as well. Now the next set of agents here are documentation agents. So we're done with these two. Documentation, we have again 4 agents. The first one is very straightforward in the sense that it creates documentation for an endpoint. So what do you choose here? You choose your project and you choose the flow. You can choose multiple flows as well. And if you want to generate the documentation parallel, let's just do one for now. And essentially for all the tasks, you see some sort of a timeline which shows how much time is left and what work is to be done. And this is what the final output looks like. It took almost 2 minutes for the documentation to be created, and let's see what does this have. So we ask for this particular endpoint. We first start by creating the sequence diagram. So here we say it's a client, there's the actual API, and from the code we understand that there's a Salesforce backend which this thing calls. And this is what the sequence diagram is, that it gets a request, then it forwards to this particular endpoint for a Salesforce. You return the member profile details, and that's all. And then this error handler. So the first part of this is sequence diagram. Then we give a high-level summary of what this flow does essentially. So this is a very simple flow, but it could get decently complex. So business logic could be decently complex. And we have flow diagram, which is also showing you the data flow. We show you the schema and input-output examples. In this case, it's fairly long. And this is the output example. Then we come on to the detailed steps about the API endpoint details, integration process, resilience mechanisms, there's error handling. So you have a variety of error codes which you can return, mapping tables, unit tests as well. So again, because it's in the code, we can figure out that what all testing is done for this particular endpoint. Logging. So this is an entire trace of logging of as to when the request is received, to the fact that there's some debug and error logs as well, and security. So yeah, it should serve as a comprehensive documentation. You can export it as HTML, docx, or Markdown. You can make edits to it. And yeah, so that's about documentation generator. If you go back, then there's a diagram generator. So here we created the entire thing in one shot. Now let's say if you just want the sequence diagram or flow diagrams, you can just click on those, and it will generate a very similar diagram as before, but we can have a look anyways. So let's we have this. Yeah. So in this case, I wanted to create sequence diagrams for both of these endpoints, get members and get members member ID. This is the diagram it creates, which is all correct, which is fine to me. But now you have an option of giving feedback to this particular image. So you can keep on giving again natural language feedback that, hey, improve this diagram in this particular format, or so and so. In this case, I wanted to ask it give me more details about error handling, and it's not visible, but yeah, you can see here there are some more details about what are some non-retriable errors. There are some API kit errors and things like those, which are not present in the previous diagram. So again, you can keep on giving comments till you are happy with the diagram it creates.
So
Uh,
before we go into the next one, let's address a couple of questions. One is, can we use general language to refine this documentation?
for now, it's not supported like general language. For now, you can just like export and edit it. But I think that's something which might come out soon, because I think we have seen this many times that people want this feature. So it's on the roadmap, I would say.
The next one is MUnit test generator. Are existing tests overwritten or merged if regenerated?
Right. So here we create tests from scratch. So use MUnit tests generator when you don't have any tests at all. If you have existing tests and you want to like improvise those, I would say use coding agent. So if you go into coding agent, you choose the repository. You just click on this particular field of enable MUnit tests, and here in the task you can describe that improve the MUnit tests for this flow, like XYZ flow, or whatever task you want it to do. So in that case, it will like just merge with your existing MUnit tests. But the MUnit, this particular agent is like a standalone agent when you want to create tests from scratch. That's the two entry points I would say for testing.
There are a couple of more. Are the diagrams editable? Do we get a draw.io file? I
Right
think,
now, no. I think
yeah, we get that
everyone,
question all the time. Go
yeah, we
ahead.
get this all the time. For now, it's only PNG. We are exploring some other options. Like there could be SVG which you can import somewhere else, or lucid charts. Uh, but yeah, like point taken. I think this is also something we hear a lot, and we are working on it.
The next one is it possible to generate API-led connectivity diagram using the documentation agent?
API let connect. So you want like if you have multiple like experience process and system APIs, and how do they interact with each other? Uh, then yes, we have this domain diagram, which is the next agent which I was going to. If that is what you want. If not, maybe if you have some example, like what do you, uh,
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, Jian. Thanks.
right, right, yeah. So I think we can go over on this next agent for that.
Actually, there's another question, and then we'll quickly go. This will be the last question because you guys might have to see the rest of the demo.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to know how well does it handle end-to-end lifecycle tasks from API design to development and maintaining best practices. Um, that's a Gian, you want to address that before I go into it's a multi-step question.
I think the first answer we can also point to Alex's videos.
Yes.
He created a project from scratch. So it's a 4-step video where she creates like API specs, then copy paste those into integration, then make changes using the agent, like coding agent and things like those. So probably that's the best resource. But Deep, anything else to add?
So have you or your team tried using it in an actual project? Yes, we have a number of customers who are using it, this product already. So, I mean, these are large customers who use for their real project. So I'm going to share some of the videos that Alex Martinez created, especially the one tutorial that Gianna is talking about. And let's move on because we have 14 minutes and you want to share. I think there were questions on migration agent as well. So
Yeah.
let's keep
Mhm.
going and I'll share the videos. Thanks, Gian.
Thanks. So then we come to this domain diagram. So note that all of our agents which we have seen till now work only on one repo. But for domain diagram, you can choose like multiple repos. For now, I just have one over here. But so if you have your like experience process system APIs as different repos, you can choose over here, and you can just click submit, which will create the domain diagram. Let's see if I have an example actually. Um, I probably should. Um, Alright, in my personal workspace. Let's see if I can pull it from. It should edit this. No. Oh yeah, good. This is what it was. So here I had created with a bunch of endpoints, which is a system API, process API, and so on. And this is the diagram it creates. So you see we have process APIs, building process API through this particular endpoint. It talks to a queue. The experience API talks to the process API using the buildings API. There are two system APIs. These are the endpoints through which they are connected. And finally, we have the end systems, which is the MySQL database and object store in this particular case, which are outbound. So this is the kind of thing which we create, and you can also give comments on this as always to refine it. So hope this kind of answers your question. So that's the domain diagram generator, and finally we also have a thing to generate mapping table. So you can try an example. So if you have a DataWeave script and you want to create a mapping table out of it, like you don't want to really understand what the code does, what are the transformation rules in natural language, you can just copy paste it here and let the agent figure it out. While this is happening, you can look into the other things. So we looked into documentation, a bunch of things. And finally, we have a bunch of coding inside agents, which also people find very useful. Let's go over the first two first, right? So we have the single repo code lengths and multi-repo code lengths. And what do these mean is essentially you can chat with any code base. So in single repo, it's from the name you can choose only one repo. Versus in multi-repo, you can choose multiple of those. So let's say I choose this particular endpoint and I ask a question. And here you can ask literally anything about the project. Like this is, let's say I don't know anything about this, so which all APIs are there and the project. And well, okay, this which all APIs are there. Okay, what's wrong with this? You can go here. I think this needs some refresh. Just a second. Meanwhile, you can look at this mapping table which it created. So this is the kind of thing it creates. You have source, target, and some rules, and so on. I could actually go to this thing. Might be a workspace issue, and which APIs are there. And yeah. So look at it, this is a fairly involved question which will understand like going through almost all files in the project to figure out what's happening, and that's what the agent is doing right now. And yeah, we have some things which come here. So there's get members, post members, get members from ID, and so on. I think there are 5 endpoints. What it points to is it describes what each of these does as well, and points to a git link as well. Like you can look at the actual file. So this is particularly useful if you are new to a project. You don't know much of what the code is, if the code is not really well documented. You can use this like explain with more detail. And then you can understand the transformation logic. You could also ask things like violations of best practices, or if you are having some bug and you see error logs, you can just copy paste those error logs in the message and ask it that, hey, give me some ideas of how can I fix it. If you want to make your code more efficient, you can just ask things like those too. So think of this as your general help agent regarding anything you want. Like here you can just chat with it regarding a bunch of things. So yeah, it comes up with the explanation. And yeah, and it kind of like figures out.
Question, where is the description of API endpoint come from? Is it from the RAML or is it generated?
Is it from? It's from the code. So even if your project will not any YAML from the code, figure out like which flows are there and which of these are like endpoints which are connected to your like API kit router. So that's where it comes from. So yeah.
And there's a question on pricing for the enterprise users. So it depends on, it's not based on the project, it's more based on API methods and endpoints. And so that's something we certainly can have a conversation. So again, it's based on the APIs, not because, for enterprise projects, it's pretty large projects. So we want to make sure that you guys are covered by, not by task, but by APIs that you build.
So then you can ask me, give me some violations, security violations. Let's see, security violations. And yeah, so first it asks like for which flow. Okay, so let's do just like get members. So we can just do this. And so what you could do is you can just run this agent across all your existing projects as well. Figure out all the issues you have and ask the coding agent to go and fix those. So these are kind of the workflows which we see people doing.
Hey, Gian, there's a question on the repos. So does it access public repos from GitHub or private as well?
Private as well. So actually, good question. I can just go over some product features which we have. So you see this is our home, but you see a settings tab over here whenever you log in. So you can go here. First thing, you can go into workspace, and in workspace, what's really important is this coding guidelines part. So if your organization has some best practices which you follow, you can just upload a PDF over here, which has things like written in natural language, and this PDF is used by all the agents, so by the coding agent or by our single repo code lens, everyone. So that's one thing which you can do. Repositories, you can we have a bunch of options to connect. We have GitHub, GitLab, we'll have Bitbucket and Azure as well coming up soon. And then you also have an option of local repos. You can just like point to a project that you're working on locally, or on GitHub you can like configure using OAuth. So it's also like private repos which you can connect to. And once you're connected, you can see those repos in the indexes. There's GitHub. If you have some local repos as well, you will see those as well. For each of them, you can choose the runtime VM args over here, so that it's configured for once and you don't have to do that again and again. So these are some like connectivity and product features. And as I said previously, if you want to remove a thing, you can just like click on suspend for now. So yeah, that's there. And yeah, we had asked something to over here, and it comes up with some security violations. One thing is we are logging the entire payload, which is what it is crying about, that it's not good because payloads might have like some sort of information. We are not doing an input validation. There are some hard-coded configuration values, and instead of that, it's asking us to use like encrypted ones, like use secure properties. So yeah, bunch of things. So that's your single and multi-repo code length. And the final agent is just code review. If you have pull requests and you want AI to review you and you don't want to spend time yourself, that's what we have this agent for. And let's see. We don't have a lot of time, but I could go over this quickly. What to do is just to copy paste the PR file. So this is some pull requests which I created previously. I've upgraded some random version, but I'd explicitly introduced a bug so that this logger has an incorrect syntax. And you copy paste this PR, and It just gives you like the bugs you have. And the error message in the logger was incorrectly formatted, which would cause runtime errors when trying to log connectivity timeout errors. Uh, so yeah, all your PRs could essentially first go through the AI agent. You can look at the feedback and then proceed with it, which would spend a lot of time and time to understand like what these diffs actually mean. So I think that's about
There
it.
are
And
a couple
finally,
of questions. Couple of questions.
Mhm.
Does it run on particular Java version or all versions?
All versions, right? So we have support of all these versions. So we it's 8, 11, 17. These are the Maven versions, and these are the Mule runtime versions which we support right now.
That's the second question. How does it support Java upgrade and runtime upgrade for existing projects?
Right. So that you could go over here. You can choose coding agent. Um, let's have a repository, and let's say I want to upgrade to Mule runtime 4.9. What you can do after this is you can click on enable MUnit tests, um, and you have to choose the Java versions to the platform that you want to migrate. So Mule runtime 4.9 is Java 17. Maven, that's the latest one, and this is Mule 4.9. So for migrations, so essentially, uh, runtime versions are the versions with which you want the agent to run the code or test the code. So because if you are migrating to an later version, you choose those and you submit that, and this will do that upgrade for you. Any other questions, Deepa?
I don't see any, but I'm not sure if I missed. If that's the case, please type in your question again.
Mhm.
And Nitish, we are at the bottom of the hour, so I don't know what's like. We just have barely a minute left. So how do you want to?
Mhm.
Okay.
And yeah, finally, we have a bunch of migration agents where we can migrate. So, how migrations essentially work is you first create documentation for the source repo. You can use that documentation for our integration generator. Um, and then, if you have like existing transformations over there in like different languages, you can use our DataWeave agent as well to just copy paste that transformation in the notes, give input output examples which will stay the same irrespective of what the middleware is, um, and go on from there. So that's what our migration agents are. We support from a bunch of different things, but yeah, I think we are a bit out of time, so I would like to take questions first.
Yeah. Any addition? Oh, there is a question on upgrade can be tried or not in trial.
Upgrade can be so in this 7-day trial, all the agents are available to you.
Everything is available for you, so you can try most of the things.
Okay. Um,
Anything else, Nitish? Do you want to do anything else, or should we wrap up because it's already time?
Yeah, so if we are good with the demo, firstly, thank you so much. It was really helpful and really knowledgeful. Got to know a lot many things. Okay, guys who are using ChatGPT, we have something really handy and very good. Okay, so a
So
quick
I just want to touch on that. You brought up a very good topic on ChatGPT. So you're right. You may be going through a lot of iterations. I'm in marketing. I tried using ChatGPT, but we all know, right? It just keeps, you might go in this vicious circle.